These are freeze-dried pumpkin curries with quinoa. Wow, look at that. It's looking good. 1, it's almost Halloween, and that means pumpkin season. 2, my wife Renee's favorite, and I mean favorite foods ever since I've known her, are pumpkins and squashes, especially orange pumpkins this time of year. And 3, she's out of town all week right now on a business trip, so we have some time to have some fun. Let's create a brand new freeze-dried pumpkin recipe. We'll start with ideation. We have to come up with something that looks good. Then we'll go through recipe creation. What are the ingredients and cooking methods that are actually likely to work? Then we'll cook the whole thing, we'll freeze dry it, we'll throw it in a bag, and be ready to take Renee on a spooky hike to rehydrate when she gets back. Let's go. So, nobody creates a recipe in a vacuum, including us. These are some of the books that we like to use most for recipe inspiration, along with our recipe binder. These are things we've collected over the years or assembled ourselves that are pretty tasty. And I'm just gonna look through this pile of books, see what I can come up with, and hopefully by the end I'll have a good pumpkin recipe that can be freeze-dried. Everybody's favorite up north adventurer, Old Time Hockey. He's got a book out, same publisher as ours, and he really likes meat and cheese, which is always a problem for us, but inspiration is what I'm looking for. I've got it. We're doing a pumpkin curry, and I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna put in it based on some books I read, our previous curries that we've made, and some searching on the internet. There's no one recipe I can point to as the inspiration for this. There's several that all kind of came together to make this recipe. I think it'll be pretty good. It's low on oil because oil is not so great for longevity after freeze drying. It can handle some though, since I'm gonna do this in the freeze dryer instead of the dehydrator. It doesn't have any coconut because coconut is kind of high in fat, and again, that would hurt longevity in the freeze dryer. Let's write this down. All right, there's the first draft of the recipe. Before I go to the store, I'm gonna check what spices that I need. Cinnamon stick. This is just curry powder. Fresh garlic here. I'm using fresh ginger. Chili powder. Tons of chili powder. Coriander. Got it. I'm buying a bunch of stuff, but I have most of the spices. That's convenient. Got my reusable bags. I've got a lot of favorite stores. I really like grocery shopping, but this is one of my favorite stores. This place is in Sunnyvale, California, and it is good. Optimandi. Always the best onion prices in the world here. Cilantro. This stuff will be pretty fresh in there. It's gonna taste great. Whenever I'm here, I get some roti. This isn't for this recipe, it's just that it tastes so damn good. Pretty much always put rice in our curries, but Renee likes quinoa. We've never actually dehydrated or freeze-dried quinoa before. I'm sure it'll freeze-dry well, so I'm gonna do it. This is why I shop here. There's so many spices. Garam masala is what I need. Got it. And it's a good price. This recipe's for Renee. Let's get some star anise. A jalapeno. Gotta keep it spicy. That was a wonderful shop. Got everything except the chickpeas, so I'll go get those in a can at a less exciting store, sadly. All right, I'm back from the store. It's time to cook. Here's what we've got. 2 pumpkins, 2 onions, 4 tomatoes, garlic, jalapeno, lemon, fresh ginger. That's gonna be good. Star anise, which is really particularly for Renee. Look at that. She likes licorice. I don't, but I'm making this for her as a special treat, so hopefully she likes it. Garbanzos. Then we have a ton of spices. Garam masala, cumin, coriander, paprika, chili powder. That is what goes in here. Let's start by chopping up these pumpkins, which is never fun, but it's doable. Turmeric, forgot, we also have turmeric. Going for kind of bite-sized pieces on the pumpkins. I'm gonna cut the skin off after I slice them a little. So in this household, we never throw out pumpkin seeds. I think it's kind of sad because it would be much easier to throw them out. But if there's one yummy thing, it is roasted pumpkin seeds, which will take some time, but it's worth it. And then you just throw them in the oven at 300 or so with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt. That'll be a side dish. Maybe we'll even eat it on the same hike. That'll be kind of fun. All right, I got all the seeds out, most of the stringiness gone. Left some stringiness, where is it there? I left a little bit of stringiness, but like, it'll cook off. And then I got a ton of pumpkin seeds. So I will cook these as part of the process. Let's get the skin off the pumpkins. On some squash, you can eat the skin. I don't know on pumpkin, so better be safe than sorry. There's one de-skinned pumpkin, 1/2. I'm getting there. It's gonna take time. I now have 4 pumpkin halves. I'm gonna cut these into bite-sized pieces for the curry. And peeling those was certainly the hardest part. The skins can go in the compost. Bite-sized pieces of pumpkin, here we come. 2 little pumpkins worth. It's a lot, but I'm sticking with it. Let's do a weight measurement, so if you're making this recipe at home, you can mimic the amount of pumpkin that I used. 3 pounds. 3 pounds of pumpkins, or in metric, 1.347 kilograms. Welcome to the stove. First up, oil. We're gonna use oil in this recipe, even though we wouldn't if this was a dehydrated recipe. Again, it's gonna be okay in the freeze dryer, but still, I'm not gonna use too much of it. Next, we're gonna dump in the onions, the tomatoes, and get them really cooking together. I learned that from my friend Sabi, who owns an Indian restaurant. The flavor comes out the longer they cook. Eventually, I'll dump in the garlic, then I'll dump in the ginger, and all the spices before I do anything with the pumpkins. So here we go. As that gets going, I'm also gonna dump in a fair amount of salt. This is coming along. We're gonna put in the star anise. The reason I put this in so early is because it's just gonna leach out its flavor in the heat. And while it does, we'll add that flavor. I don't like it, but Renee does. We'll remove those before the whole process is done, but 2 star anises give it a little bit of licorice flavor, but not too much. This is cooking down very nicely. It's got a ways to go. I want it to be almost imperceptible what's a tomato and what's an onion. I've got the tomatoes and onions cooking down into a strong, flavorful paste. And next, I'll have to add the spices. And to keep my mind straight, I'm gonna do that right here while I've got some thinking time. First up is gonna be 2 teaspoons of cumin, right there. 2 teaspoons garam masala. Oh, smells good. 2 teaspoons garam masala. 4 teaspoons coriander. 1, 2, 3, 4 teaspoons coriander. 2 teaspoons paprika. 2 teaspoons paprika. 1 teaspoon turmeric, there it is. 2 teaspoons chili powder. That's not enough. 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon chili powder. 4 teaspoons of salt. I'll just keep shaking that in, but that should be the total amount, more or less, that I get in there. And that is all of the spices. So we got a nice spice mix right here. The other flavors that are going in are gonna be garlic, ginger, and jalapenos. These are still cooking, but I'm gonna start on the pumpkins so that they start getting soft and I don't have to wait forever once I throw them in the other one. Again, a little bit of oil, not much this time. My non-stick pan has lost a lot of its non-stickness though, so this is hard to do without oil. And in go a ton of pumpkins. I should have a bigger pan for this many pumpkin pieces, but I don't. So it's just gonna do its thing in there. So it's getting darker and thicker. So now it's time for the garlic, the ginger, and the jalapeno. Ginger, garlic, jalapeno. The next task is spices. This is getting good and thick, and a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup of water to really bring out the flavor and let it infuse with all the onion and the jalapeno. Spice mix. Oh, I can smell it. Yum. Let's get 1/2 cup of water in there. Nobody likes to eat curry without putting it on top of something, so we are putting it on quinoa. I like to cook quinoa in a rice cooker. At this point, I'm estimating that we'll get about 8 servings of curry out of this recipe.
So 8 servings curry means I need 8 servings quinoa. There's gonna be 2 cups of quinoa and 4 cups of water. 2 cups quinoa, 4 cups water. The reason I love the rice cooker is because I don't have to watch it. It'll stop cooking when it senses that it's done because all the water's gone. Easy. Okay, I moved the camera over near the pumpkin to show what that's looking like, and it's almost done, to be honest. It's nice and brown. It's not totally cooked yet, but we're gonna mix all this stuff together and it'll continue its cooking in the full curry. So let's call the pumpkin good. I like those crispy spots. Turn that off, set that back, leave the lid off. I'm gonna take the lid for this wonderful spice mix, which is really starting to, smells good. Look at that. Wow. We're gonna mix everything together at this point. So, turn that off. Whew. Got hot. Don't forget, cast iron gets hot. This, for the day, is gonna be our curry pot. All right, into the curry pot goes yum, yum, yum. Wish you guys could smell this. Then, into that go the pumpkins. Turn it on. Medium, low, something like that. Low. We're gonna have it on for a while. First, I'll stir them together. It's gonna get water and it's gonna get garbanzo beans. Every backcountry meal we make has protein, starch, spices. Starch was the pumpkin. The spices were that wonderful mix I had in the cast iron. And the protein is gonna be garbanzos. I was wondering if it would be better with water like I'm about to do, or if I just use the garbanzo water. I'm going with water. But if you think aquafaba would have been better, let me know down below. In goes 1 cup water and some more salt. Some of the recipes I found online called for coconut milk at this point. I think I want to keep this one tomato and onion based. It's looking good. It's been about 20 minutes. It's looking cooked, soft, it's all mixed together, it's yellowish brown. I'm gonna turn off the heat. The next thing I have to do is dump in a lemon. 1 lemon going in. I learned once on the Food Network, if you squeeze these seed side up, you don't get seeds in your meal. I got some seeds in there anyway. I'm gonna give it a stir, wait for the quinoa to finish, and start getting the freeze dryer ready. Time for the taste test. Looking good. Get some pumpkin, garbanzo. There we go. And it's looking hot is what it's looking. That is really good. It's time to freeze dry. This is our freeze dryer. It's the smallest Harvest Right freeze dryer. We love it. If you're thinking of picking one up, use the link down below. That would be awesome because then we get a cut. Just a little cut, but we'd appreciate that you're supporting us. But either way, we love this freeze dryer. It's fast. It's got this little dongle that makes it talk to my phone, gets things all sucked up and dry, desiccated, and ready to use. So I'll turn it on in 1 sec, because the other thing I got up here, because we always store it on top of the freeze dryer, is our book. Don't forget, we got a recipe book out. This is all dehydrated recipes, which is how we got started in prepping food for the trail. Dehydrators are like infinitely cheaper than freeze dryers, so if you're thinking about starting, that's a good place to start. There's an on switch. This thing gets loud, but that's okay. As soon as it boots up, I will tell it I'm getting ready to do a load. Okay, let's start. There we go. Now it's gonna spend 15 minutes getting cold inside, pre-freezing whole machine. Before it does that, I'm gonna take these out because these we need to load the food onto. Okay. Now we give it 15 minutes. Let's go load those trays. I almost forgot. Now that everything is cooked, I'm gonna cut up some cilantro to throw in there. I know there's people who don't like cilantro. I don't know why not. This stuff is good. Look at that. I learned a long time ago, if you store your fresh herbs in a cup of water in the refrigerator, they will last way longer. Let's cut. Okay, mixing in the cilantro. Look at that color now. Yum. Man, that looks awesome. Now it's time to put this on freeze dryer trays. The way I'm gonna do this is with a spoon that I kind of have a sense how big a serving is. I have no idea how many servings I just made, and I wanna know so when I package it up, I can split it into that many serving size bags. A Renee and Tim size serving is probably at least 2 of those scoops. 1, 2 big scoops. That's gonna be 1 serving. Okay, 1 tray equals 4 servings. Got a little more, so I guess I made 9 servings of this meal. I'm gonna squeeze all this into one side of this tray so I can put the quinoa on the other side. I gotta give myself credit. I made 8 servings of quinoa and just over 8 servings of this, which was lucky. I had a hunch. Quinoa. One rule with the freeze dryer is that you shouldn't overload the stuff beyond the level of the trays. That's probably because of how much water it can handle in the machine, because it's gonna suck all the water out of this stuff. Apologies for the background noise, but it is now time to put the food in the freeze dryer. Curry is now freeze drying, and while it does that, got the oven preheating. It's time to make these pumpkin seeds. This is a bonus. Anytime you make something with pumpkin or squash, you can make the seeds. So let's put those in a pan, some oil, salt. Give those a good mix. Now I throw those in the oven. I'm gonna check on them every 10 or 15 minutes. It's impossible to know how long they take, but here we go. They're in. It's at 300. I hope that's right. That's my memory, says 300. We'll see. This is what the finished pumpkin seeds look like. I don't want to eat them all, but I do want to eat them all, but I gotta save some for us to munch on our hike. So good. Okay, dehydrating is complete, so let's turn that off. It should get quiet in a second now. There we go. Hopefully you can hear me. So it is close to 2 days, 48 hours since I started this, but actually I got a ping at work. This dongle sensed it was done several hours ago. So it's been about 36 hours to get this completely done. Like I said, it had to start by freezing everything, and that takes some time. And then it kicked off the dehydrating process. It was probably close to 24 hours of freeze drying. Sorry, I've said dehydrating, it's been freeze drying is what we're doing here. So now I get to do the fun part. I'm going to reach my hand down, turn the knob, which will kill the vacuum, and let all the air in. And then I have to move pretty darn quick to package it up once I've done that, because if I don't get it packaged quickly, it's gonna start absorbing moisture out of the air. Let's break that vacuum. All right, let's open it up. See what we got. Oh yes, that looks perfect. That quinoa is cooked. You can see it shrunk in the tray, and it is gonna be fully freeze dried. Should be really dry. And this is the curry. Wow, that shrunk a little less than I thought it would, but there's just no moisture in here. It's light as could be. This is really cool. Gotta move quick to package it. So I wanna go through now the things that I need to package it. First, I've got freeze dryer bags. These are Mylar bags that are totally airtight, and I will put the food in there. Even though I should have 9 servings, I think I can fit it all in 4 2-serving bags, so I'm gonna try to make this 8 servings. It's always nice to have a little bit of extra food on the trail. Then inside each bag, once I put in the food, I'm also gonna put in an oxygen absorber. These really just make sure that the food doesn't get infiltrated by oxygen, which would make it oxidize, could make it spoil. Doesn't last as long if it doesn't have one of these. In theory, with this, and I didn't use much oil in the food, so it could last potentially 25 years. I'm sure we'll eat it a lot sooner than that though. And then to seal these bags and really make them airtight, they don't have a zipper, they don't have any of that. I'm actually gonna use a melter. This will melt the top of the bag and make it totally closed. I love using this thing because when I was in high school, I worked at an ice cream shop, and there were certain packaged like foods that we made that we would seal with one of these. So I feel like I'm back in my high school days every time I seal stuff up. We've got 8 meals to package into 4 Mylar bags, and I'm just gonna go fast. Ready, go. That is the freeze-dried curry. There's nothing in there. Man, take a look. It's just completely hard. It weighs almost nothing because there is no water. I'm gonna split these into 4 chunks using a big spatula. There's no moisture, none. Cutting these into quarters just because that'll help me get them in the bag easier. Bag number 1. Oh, that is so cool. That's 1 serving of curry. And here comes the second serving. One serving is made. It's the weight of air, well I guess air plus food, but no moisture. It's remarkable how much food weight is water. And we've said in other videos to explain, the reason we do this has little to do with perishability. It's much more because of we're trying to minimize the weight that we have to carry on our backs. Sometimes using the freeze dryer or the dehydrator reduces the weight by 90%. It's a lot of weight reduction. If we're hiking for 4 months, we usually stop at places to resupply to get more food about once a week. So we have to carry a full week of food at once. So often we're eating 4,000 calories a day. So that's kind of like 14 days worth of calories at once. If you compare it to a 2,000 calorie diet, that's a lot of calories. And it's a lot of weight. And if you have water in there, water doesn't have calories. And we can get our water out of natural streams along the way. We will minimize the weight of water on our backs so we can maximize the weight of calories on our backs. This one I'm just gonna cut into 4. Gotta put it somewhere. If I was gonna be really precise, I'd weigh it out. Eyeball tends to work. These should be large meals anyway. We'll find out on our spooky hike. The curry is packaged. In each of these bags, I'm putting quinoa. Just gonna eyeball about 1/4. I think this is gonna be harder to package. It won't stick together. There's 1/3. Okay, that's split into thirds. Here's another bit, and now that's gonna go in all 4. I think I could have done this better, but the question is, can I do this? Yes, without breaking it. Don't want to make a mess. I'll be sweeping for years if I spill this. We do have a vacuum robot called Sharky, so I put Sharky on it. Yeah, I'm making a mess. As soon as it's in, it's gonna crumble and fit. Oh. It's in and crumble and fit. That will close no problem. 1. I'm hoping it goes a little better on round 2. Oh my God, oh my gosh. Sharky's gonna have a lot of work. Let's try it in pieces. Why didn't I do that all along? Oh my gosh. And 4. Nice. The oxygen absorbers, one goes in each pack. 1, 2. Don't forget to take these out before you eat whatever you're cooking, because if you don't, they can't be good. They're not meant to be eaten. Last thing I have to do is fire up the sealing machine and seal these things. I just want to mention, there are almost 1 million of you subscribed to our channel, and thank you all so much. We are getting close to that 1 million subscriber count, which is beyond our wildest dreams. And so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You can help us be the first long distance hiking account to get to 1 million on all of YouTube, and we're so grateful for it. Every subscriber helps us continue to make these videos and continue to put out this content that we hope you all like. Let's package these up and just make sure that's sealed. I have as little air in there as possible. Put that in the hot spot. Go. There we go. Sealed straight across the top. You can see the line. So that's 1 of 4. 404. Totally sealed, totally airtight. These are freeze-dried pumpkin curries with quinoa that we will take on a hike and make on the trail. In a week or two, come along on our spooky hike when I show Renee what I made, and I really hope she likes it. I hope all of you think it looks good, and I really appreciate you being here. See ya.